Sanam Aloha. So today I want to talk about the full moon that's coming up on Friday. And we just left the gate of 33, you see right there. So this is the mandala, the human design mandala. So we're in Leo season. I love Leo season. It's my favorite, being a Leo rising, Leo moon. Okay, so the sun was in the 33, right? And now it's moved into the 7 right here, the 7. So we go through, basically the gates go through line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And there's themes every day. There's daily themes. And if you're not on my YouTube community channel, if you're subscribed, you'll be notified if I put a post up there. And Telegram and Instagram, I also do. I'm going to do more transits, like daily, just a daily post about the transit. People seem to be liking that, and it keeps us on track, right, with these energies. So we just left the 33.6, and that was my last live transmission from last Wednesday, right? And this was the gate of retreat. And basically, this is the closing the door energy. So remember, it was a retreat. It was about moving into reflection, basically, and silence. So, right? So you can see the mandala here. Now we're moving into the 7, right? In Leo, and then the 4, the 29, and the 59. So we'll be in the 7 until Sunday. So what's gate 7 asking us to do, and what does this have to do with the full moon? Well, it's culminating on Friday with the full moon. So the sun is still in gate 7, and remember that 70% of the neutrinos come from the sun, and this is what creates this program. Your natal chart, the imprint of your natal chart, it comes from the neutrino stream, and so does the transit chart, which I follow for these transmissions. Okay, so the 7 is asking us, so 33, okay, we reflect it, and now the 7 is asking us to step into our role in the collective without forcing, proving, or seeking validation. So what does this mean? It means we are being called to our soul purpose, right? Our soul purpose, and our soul purpose always involves making a contribution to the collective, to the collective. So when you're aligned with your soul, right, with your authenticity, immediately you want to serve, you want to help, because that's what the soul wants to do. It wants to give, it wants to help, it wants to give back, it wants to serve the divine in the other. So the divine in you wants to serve the divine in others. And it comes through an impulse. There's an impulse of your soul to serve. And if you're just like, hey, it's all about me and getting validation and get my ego all stroked up and inflated and right, and all those things that the ego wants, which are so not, they're not sustainable, because the ego is never satisfied. It's always next, 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 next. You are not aligned with your soul if it's just about me, 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 me. So gate 7 with this 33, it was like, okay, we have time to reflect. And now it's like, okay, so where do we fit in with this collective? And it's not about what is out here. Like I'm a square peg trying to fit into a round hole. No, it's coming from within you. And it's like, how do my gifts and talents that the divine has given me, gifted me? It's like, how does this contribute to the whole of humanity? Right? And it's a joy. It's the best energy ever, the best drug you can ever take is when you're doing your soul purpose, right? Because you're just like the divine energies flowing through you. Okay, so this is what this week is about with the gate 7. So it's the gate of leadership, the 7. So you can see it right here, right? It's coming off the G center, the 7. So it's one of the 3 leadership channels, right? It comes the 31-7, which is the channel of the alpha. So each line, you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's giving you a lesson, a daily lesson. Okay, so line 1, it's like recognize your role. What's your role? And you should be getting lots of information through your intuition. And that's why I suggest it as a projector that you stop, right? You stop and you go into retreat so that you can listen to your soul to recognize what your role is. Okay. And then line 2 day is like about serving quietly. The ego wants the applause and the snaps, right? It wants the validation. It wants the fame. It wants all the money, blah, blah, blah. This is like serve quietly. And this is like facing your ego temptations. This is when the ego wants to hijack your soul purpose and monetize it and get the acclaim and the credit, right? And all that stuff. This is the third line day as you face those ego temptations, right? Because the power doesn't come from the ego. The power is coming from your soul through your authenticity. And then line 4, this is the full moon, and this is the art of stepping back. Okay, so we'll go into what the individual lesson for you for this full moon. So just keep this in mind, learn the art of stepping back. What does that mean? Right? So this means that, okay, maybe I was in a position of leadership here, but now I see that there's another person around me that's more qualified, that's not in terms of like credit and outer credentials, that kind of thing, but more of like, oh, this is their sole purpose is to move here and take over. And now I will step back because I'm being called somewhere else, right? Line 5 is embodying visible and be the embodiment of this. And that's like you're walking your talk, you're in integrity. That's the new leadership for the cross of the sleeping phoenix is completely different. It's a servant leadership model. It's not like you do what I say, put me on a pedestal. It's like I'll go first, right? And if you're with me, you're with me. If you're not, you're not. And then the line 6 is the tippy top, right? So you go to the very, very top, and this is where you evaluate and you get the lesson, right? So by the end of this week, if you're following the energies, which I would suggest that you do because they're here to assist you, you can emerge aligned with your soul and aligned with the universal order. There's a universal order to all of this. It's self-organizing principle, I would call it, and it's bringing everybody together. And this is what the fractal is about. So we're going to talk more about the fractal this week because this theme keeps coming up. So remember, follow me on my socials and I'll remind you of these steps with more of an elaboration and then images, of course, I like to use. Okay, so let's look at the full moon. So this is the transit chart. And remember to go get your natal chart if you're new to human design. And I always put a link down below in the information box, and it's all free. It's all free. And you can follow along, and then you'll learn about your natal chart. So maybe you have the 13 already natally. Maybe you've got the 7. And then I'll be talking about the 25 with Saturn and Neptune as well. And then this channel, the 31-7 here. So let's just go over some of the codes here. So the moon, you can see the full moon is in 13.4, and this is the companion. It's the listener. And then 7.4 is the sun. So this means sharing the past, 13.4, with the right people. And what do the right people mean? It means you're fractal. And I'm going to go more into examples of this, right, of your fractal. So it's sharing the past with your right to learn, right, because it's the 13. This is the listener. It's the listener. And then this full moon is about handing off stories and leadership, right? So this is about letting go of your stories, your past stories, learning from them and letting them go. And the full moon also asks who truly belongs in your field, right? In your direction. And line 4 is about your fractal. It's about your friends, your network, right? So this full moon illuminates which relationships belong to your true fractal and which belong to your false fractal. Okay, so we'll go into that a little bit more. And then let's look at the 31/7 so you get an idea of the energies. So Mercury, you see, 31.3, and then the sun, right? So this is the channel of the alpha here. So it's a leadership channel. And Mercury activating the 31.3, that's the voice of leadership that's coming through line 3, which is all about experience, right? 3 is like learning from experience through trial and error. And then sun in 7.4 is leadership that sometimes withdraws to preserve integrity, And this is like not getting attached to the role, right? Maybe you're you've been placed in a leadership role in your false fractal, right? And it's a role and it's not aligned with your soul. Then the 7.4 is saying to withdraw from that role and allow the true person to come forward. This is the thing when we're not doing our soul purpose and we're trying to do someone else's soul purpose. So we're actually taking that that divine purpose of that other person, trying to do their job for them, right? And it's like you're being called elsewhere. So this is the energy here with this full moon. So this is together, these two, Mercury and the sun in this 31/7, it's sending out a signal to your fractal, to your true fractal. And right. And it's like step back and allow the correct recognition to rise. And those who are truly aligned can hear my voice, right? Can hear my voice. So this is about your frequency. It's about aligning with your frequency, and that this is what you're transmitting. And then your fractal finds you because we share the same field, Okay. And then we've got Neptune and Saturn here. And these two are really important because if you follow astrology, you know that on February 20th, 2026, Saturn and Neptune are conjunct exactly at 0 degrees Aries. That's a big, huge deal. I'll talk about that as that's 23 on the clock. I'll talk about this as we get closer to that date. But already there's a conjunction. They're not 0 degrees, they're 1 degree and then a couple minutes off right now. So it's not an exact conjunction, but they are both in the 25th gate, right? Line 4, as you can see this. So gate 25 is innocence that I've talked about a lot, and it's the gate of spirit. And this is about alignment with universal love. And then it's in the 4. Again, it's about your fractal. So this is about finding the correct heart-to-heart connections. It's spirit. It's coming together in spirit, right? With your correct fractal, which is very different than karmic, which I'll talk about. And then this, in order to thrive, this is what this Saturn and Neptune are saying, right? In order to thrive, that you have to come together through spirit, and not through pushing, right? Not through forcing anything, right? So this means that old karmic bonds, because it's Saturn, dissolve or transmute. That's Neptune. And spiritual false companions fall away. And this is your false fractal, your false twin, right? Falls away because it's not real, right? It's not real. Neptune will dissolve this, right? And Saturn puts them in the world in 3D. Neptune will dissolve this. Like, who's not aligned with you? These karmic bonds will go. So for spiritual false companions fall away, and true heart-based connections activate in subtle and mystical ways, because it's Neptune, not logical ways, mystical ways. So be open to that for this full moon. So this is really a fractal sorting moment, right? A fractal sorting moment for you. You know, maybe you got a bowl of blueberries and some of them are rotten and dying, right? That's the false fractal. You're sorting all that out. And then what's alive, right? That's your true fractal. What's alive? What has energy? Okay, so the innocent spiritual core of you, your innocence, that's your spirit, your authenticity, will resonate in frequency with others, right? Certain others that are on your fractal. And then old karmic loops, like the self-pity party people that I talked about in my last video, the ones that drain your energy, right, are dissolved if you stay in resonance. Stay in I like how the play on the word. Stay in your resonance, right, which is your soul. Stay inside. Stay aligned with your soul and your integrity and your truth, your Satnam, then let the divine will do the rest, right? We'll dissolve these false karmic loops. And then if we look at the ruler of the full moon, because the full moon's in Aquarius and the Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, and Uranus is activating the 20th gate, line 2. And this is the gate of the now. Huge gate theme for the cross of the sleeping phoenix coming in 2027. So line 2 is quiet, receptive observer in the now present moment. So this is shocking the collective, because Uranus is shocking the collective into living in the present moment rather than the gate of the past, which is 13. So the full moon is a culmination, right? Is a liberation from your past stories, and moving you into present moment leadership, right? Present moment soul purpose. It's in the present now moment. So your true fractal companions, your soul allies, are recognized now, in the present now moment, not through memory. Oh, getting all nostalgic, right? The time we had such great times, right? At the beginning when we first met, and there was such a pull. It was so meant to be. It felt so fated, and now it's completely changed. It's burned away. That means it's karmic, right? That means it's karmic. The karmic flame always burns. It always burns away. Always burns away. So you're not going to the past. You're going into now, who this person is now in the present now moment. That's when the sorting takes place. That's when the discernment takes place for you in the now, present now moment. So not memory, and then not hoping, right, that they'll change or whatever for the future, because we're in a time now where people are making their choices. They're either going on their soul journey for real, not just flapping about it, but actually doing the work, right? That they're integrity, right? They're doing the work, or they're going back into a karmic loop, and maybe they'll do it next lifetime. Maybe they'll do it 5 lifetimes in the future. Who knows, right? But they're making a choice. Everyone's making their choice now. We're at a crossroads, right? So the people not changing, they're not going to change. You have to accept the truth of that. I know it's sad, right? But they're not going to change. You have to accept this truth. And then it's like, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to go back and then go in this karmic loop with them for a couple more lifetimes? Or are you going to bust a move? Are you going to say, no, I'm going for it in this lifetime? Right? So this is the choice that we're all in. And we all have had plenty of opportunities in the last 5 years to step up, right? To step up. Okay. So the shift for the fractal shift, right? The false fractal will fall away. And those who can't walk in present moment innocence, this is open hearted, moving into the unknown with faith and trust, right? They will naturally just dissolve. They'll just naturally dissolve. Yeah. So this is a sorting moment. Okay. Okay. So we got the codes for that. So let's just go a little bit deeper and we'll weave through the next part. Okay. So you may be asking, like, what's this? Okay, so here's the full moon. Here's the full moon code. We'll go deeper here. So this is one of the locks. Remember I talked about locks and keys, right? In my previous video. 13's a lock. So it's important. It's an important gate. So the 13 is the collective memory keeper. So this is the listener, the witness of stories. So if you've got gate 13 yourself activated natally, then the past is really important to you. You'd be one that like has a gazillion pictures on your iPhone, right? Of the past. So the full moon is highlighting karmic and collective stories that you've been carrying. And line 4 is friendship, influence through intimacy. This is the tribe, right? The line 4. And this is the call to your true tribe. So it pulls you away from false alliances, surface friendships, right? And self-pity circles, the false fractal, towards a soul-aligned connection. This is your true fractal. So what you may feel this week as the energy starts to build for the full moon is you may feel disillusioned, right? Disillusionment with the your old social gatherings, right? You're the crowd that you've been hanging around with. You may feel disillusioned, right? Or at your primary relationship dynamics, right? So the people out there that are the listeners and the storytellers, you're waking up and you're ready to release these old trauma stories because now we're about the future, right? The future. It's not about going back to the past and looping back and forth in the past anymore, right? So you may be at a crossroads moment, right? Do I either stay in the familiar comfort of a false community? Do I stay there, right? I'm used to these people. Or I walk towards my true fractal alignment, and you'll know. Right? So I'll go a little bit more into that, but it's like you just don't feel like you're seen. You don't feel like you're valued. And now the high priestess is ready to come out of hiding. So all this stuff that you used to put up with, it's like, I can't put up with this anymore because the pain of hiding is greater than the pain of being visible, because my soul is calling me out of hiding now, right? As a high priestess. Okay. So the last transmission that I did, I went over this. So if you just go back, I'm not going to go over this again. But basically, the false fractal are the ones that mirror your wounding. They mirror your wounding. And your true fractal mirrors your soul. Your false fractal can't see your soul. They can't really see you. They can't see you. It's a vibrational thing because they don't belong on your fractal. They're not part of your soul tribe. So they keep you out of your power, disempowered, right? They keep you in this loop, this karmic loop. And the false fractal, the glue that keeps them together is karma. And your true fractal always involves a soul purpose, your soul purpose, which brings out your gifts, that stretches you, that challenges you, that can see you, right? So go back and remember, the false fractal wants you to stay comfortable and small. They don't want you to outgrow them at all. And the true fractal wants you to remember who you are. So this is really about a choice now. You're at a choice point. So let's go deeper. Like, what's this fractal thing about? Right? The fractal. Well, there's the scientific definition of fractal. And this is a pattern that repeats itself at different scales, self-similar at micro and macro levels. So this would be like the fern leaves, like the veins of the fern, right? Or snowflakes. You can see that, or you can see it too as a tree. So spiritually speaking, right, in human design and gene keys, a fractal line is your soul's repeating pattern of connection. So your soul incarnates along a fractal branch, which is like your energetic family or your soul network, right? So you're one of these branches here. So you meet the same patterns of people, lessons, and karmic stories across lifetimes until you complete or you integrate them. So when you align to your design, your human design, or align to your soul, you shift from the false fractal, which is karmic loops that keep you just in this trauma loop over and over and lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. When you'll shift to the true fractal, and this is your destined soul family and your purpose network. These are the people that are here to help you with your soul purpose, right? Your false fractal, no. They're not here to help you with your true soul purpose. So the essence is like attracts like at the soul level. And our whole motivation for attraction and bonding with others is changing for the cross of the sleeping phoenix. It used to be the opposites attract opposite. And this means that you were naturally attracted to someone not on your fractal line, right? This is the not self. And it was all about let's make babies and keep it going, and let's clear out this ancestral garbage, right? Through getting in relationship with somebody not on your fractal, and that's where all the conflict comes from and the fighting and all that, because you don't belong together really. Like they're on a different tree, right? They're on a different tree. You want to be with somebody that you are on the same tree. You're in the same fractal. And this will be more. It'll be like attracts like. So we're going to be making that shift after 2027. Not that you're exactly alike, but you're alike at the soul level. When you're with somebody not on your fractal, you're not on the same soul level. You're a different frequency. So you call in your army. The seventh gate is also the army, the gate of the army. Your army or your fractal by resonance, right? Frequency, not by effort, not going on Tinder and Bumble and Harmony and all those sites. It's by resonance. It's by your frequency, not effort, right? And this is exactly the gate 7, right? And your high priestess, right? Role embodies this. So energetic, right? In your personal work, the true fractal are your companions. So your friends, your clients, right? Your clients and relationships that recognize your soul essence and they rise with you. All your relationships. So the false fractal are the karmic companions who reflect unfinished trauma loops, self-pitiers, energy drains, or the people that are stuck in ego resistance. They're your false fractal. They don't want to rise. They don't want to change. They don't want to evolve. So they repeat until the lesson is integrated and released, right? Your false fractal. So fractal and human experience is your repeating karmic geometry of relationships and lessons over and over and over and over again here, right? Just have some water here. Okay. So I thought of this because we're really at a crossroads right now. In the crossroads, are we going to go back, right? In terms of let's just look at the fractal. And your fractal could even be your family of origin, your false fractal. Even that, you don't belong there either. You're false. If you're on my fractal, you don't belong with your family of origin. You're caught. You're caught in a trap, right? And if you've always felt like I'm different, I'm the black sheep of the family, they don't really understand me, right? Then it's like, no, they're your false fractal. You've incarnated into that false fractal for a reason, to your workplace, your friends, right? Your family, your closest partner, maybe on the false fractal as well, too. So it's kind of like in terms of here's what I wanted to say. So we're either moving to the past, right? Or we're this full moon, right? Or we're moving into our future self and our future self. And so what does this mean? It means, let me just check something first here. Okay, so you can see this picture. Whoops, disappeared. Let me just get my thing up here. There we go. Okay, so you can see this picture. If you're on your phone, just expand it. Okay. So if you're like, imagine your soul is in kindergarten right now. Your soul is in kindergarten. Which side are you on, right? Are you the spiritual toddler down here, eating chicken McNuggets, right? And Netflixing your life away. Netflixing, it's a mouthful. Or are you the spiritual adult, finally eating your broccoli, your spiritual broccoli, making choices that actually nourish your soul? Okay? So with this, what are we being called? This is our past self, and perhaps our present self, or maybe you got one leg in here as a spiritual toddler, right? And you want to move into this direction, the spiritual adult. And this is what we're being called to do. We're being called to grow, right? Spiritually, we're being called to grow and become that spiritual adult. So this is, imagine a child, right? If a child left to their own devices, what do they want to do? They want to watch TV, the computer screen, and just eat junk food all day, right? There's no consequence with a child, right? And it feels good. I just want to do this. Well, that's what it's like to be in a karmic loop. You don't realize that you're a spiritual toddler, and what you're doing is actually poison to your soul, right? And then as you get older, right, and you develop and you evolve, every 7 years we have a consciousness shift. It's like the gift from the divine, so that we grow. And it's like, I can't do this anymore. It doesn't feel good. I get really unhealthy. So then I go, okay, well, I'm going to eat broccoli. This little toddler doesn't want anything to do with broccoli, right? So if you're in a karmic loop with others, you don't want anything to do with that spiritual broccoli. That's the growing up part. It's like realizing this is what feeds my soul, right? Is growing and evolving, getting out of my comfort zone, going for my soul purpose. That's what actually nourishes my soul, not this staying in my karmic loops and not growing and evolving. So in spiritual life, what would be a spiritual toddler? Well, that would be staying loyal to your false fractal, staying loyal to your family of origin. I know that's so sacrilegious to say. That's tribal consciousness. It's a bargain. You never speak ill of your family of origin. You're always with them. It's your mother, right? How dare you put yourself first in your spiritual journey first. This is your mother, right? This is all the deconditioning that we've got to do, get out of, right? This tribal consciousness. So this is staying loyal to false fractal. So family, your karmic partner, unaligned work that's not aligned with your soul, making choices out of fear, comfort, or old roles that you're in, and listening to your ego instead of your soul. So this result, right, with this staying a spiritual toddler, is your spiritual health starts to decline. What does this mean? It means that life gets heavy, life gets dark, right? There's more pressure in your life, more stress in your life, more frustration in your life. Why is nothing changing in my life, right? If you're saying things like that, why can't this person just do this? Why are they always coming to me with these problems, right? This is a sign that you're in a karmic loop. You're in the wrong environment, right? So this is, why is nothing changing? Because you're not changing. That's why. If you have that thought in your head, nothing's changing for me in my life. Nothing on the external is changing for me. It's because you're not changing, right? It's an inside job. You have to shift inside. And that it's like, okay, this isn't good for me. So let's look at the adult phase here. And this is your true fractal and your soul life. And this is spiritual adulthood. This is when you take accountability. You stop blaming. Stop blaming people, the false fractal. You stop blaming your karmic partner. You stop blaming your mother, your earthly father, your sister, your brothers. You stop blaming. You take accountability and responsibility. That's what it means to be a spiritual adult, right? So you start eating your spiritual broccoli, right? You start doing your inner work. You start dealing with your shadow, integrating your shadow. You start integrating unprocessed emotions from your past, right? So this is like aligned action, right? You're in integrity, right? You're aligned to your soul. You're acting from your soul, not your ego. This is the karmic loop. The toddler, the spiritual toddler, completely is the toddler's master is the ego in the mind. You can't serve two masters. It's either your soul or your ego. Which one are you going to serve, right? So this is like facing hard truths. There's no future with this karmic partner, right? There's no future with this fractal. I don't belong here. I can't fix my family of origin. This is what it means to face hard truths. And this is what it means to be a spiritual adult. A hard truth is like, can you fix anybody? Really? No. Can you save anybody? No. These are the hard truths that you have to face. The spiritual toddler, thinks that they can save everybody, right? They can fix everybody. And it's a big lie. And it keeps you trapped in a role, right? Trapped in a role. So this is about taking responsibility for your soul choices. And it's taking responsibility for the energy that you live in, right? As a spiritual adult, and your body will let you know, divine feminine. Your body will tell you the truth. Your mind and your ego will lie until the cows come home to you, right? Your fractal and your karmic partner will lie and manipulate you and gaslight you. But who's going to tell you the truth? Your body. You can count on your physical body telling you the truth. So this is what you want to start listening to, is my body, right? And it's my body contracted. I'm sick. I'm in pain. Well, get out of that environment. You need to act from your soul and ask your soul, right? Well, I can't stay in this environment, but I don't see any way out. Well, you go vertical. You don't go horizontal, trying to figure it out and strategize, and I'll do this and I'll do that. Go vertical. That's the easy way. Go vertical. And that means to go to your higher self. Please help me with this. I need to get out of this. My body is like screaming for me to get out of this environment. How can I make this work? And taking responsibility for the company you keep. And you start listening to your soul over your ego. This is what it means to be a spiritual adult. You listen to your soul over the ego. And what happens? Vitality. Your body starts to get healthy again. Your body starts to feel lighter, right? You feel free. And this is the release of the karmic pressure because you started listening to your soul. And what happens? Doors open, opportunities come to you. True fractal recognition comes. You start to bring in your true fractal. That's like, wow, you're so amazing. Look at the gifts you have. They start to see you. They can see you. And they draw out your gifts, your spiritual gifts. So this is stepping into gate 13.4, right? And gate 7 from this full moon, the leadership path. And this is where the soul finally feels safe. Finally, it feels safe to grow and be seen, right? But you've got to make this step. You have to change. You have to grow up and become the spiritual adult. And right away, it's like take accountability, take responsibility. You're not alone, and you have your body as your compass. Will let you know. Okay, so this full moon is really a spiritual graduation point. You want to release the toddler habits. This is the karmic loops. You want to let go of your victim stories, if you have any victim stories. You want to let go of any false fractal loyalty, right? And you want to step into your future self here. And this is, you make soul aligned choices. You're choosing from soul, and you go towards your true fractal belonging, right? So that's like a mantra you can say is, I choose nourishment over numbness. I choose nourishment over numbness. I grow up spiritually, and my soul recognizes itself, right? Okay, so this is, you want to step into your future self, right? That means you got to be loving spiritual broccoli, and that's the work, right? That's the inner work. It's not get loaded and numbed out on spiritual junk food, right? That just feeds the ego, and that keeps you in karmic loops with your karmic fractal. They're not going anywhere spiritually. Okay, so what else do we want to go here? Okay, let's do this. So this is what keeps this image here is what keeps this false fractal together. What keeps them together? Well, a little thing called karma, right? That keeps the false fractal together. So this is if you're feeling trapped in cycles, right? So it could relate to money, your family, roles, over responsible, right? I'm everybody else's fixer. Everybody comes to me when they've got a crisis that they're in, but who's there for me? Who's there to hold me? Nobody notices me. Over responsibility, right? So, or making fear-based choices and staying in roles that poison your soul, right? And life gets more heavier, like I said, heavier and more pressurized, right? So it's really about this choice point here. And then what you do here, this is about getting out of this trap, is recognizing, it's the moment of realizing that the cycle won't break by doing the same things, right? I want to get out of this cycle that I'm in, maybe of waiting, right? I'm waiting for them to change. I'm waiting for them to recognize me. I'm waiting for them to give back, right? And I keep overcompensating. I keep giving. It's not reciprocal, right? This is about realizing that the cycle's not going to break by doing the same thing over and over and over again. That's the definition of insanity. doing the same thing, expecting a different result, right? So emotionally, this can feel like anger, grief, or irritation at everything around you and everyone around you. So this is the necessary void that you'll feel between the false fractal and the true fractal. Okay, so the choice here, the choice point is between the gate 7 and 31, that channel. Do I stay in my old identity and keep the false fractal system comfortable? Do I not rock the boat, keep going, right, the way that I've been going? Or do I step into self-sovereignty, risking discomfort and change? And can I leave my material or karmic safety for my soul alignment here? Okay. And then I did another slide for this too. Let me get that. Okay. So reflection questions here, right? So that you can break out of this karmic cycle, this karmic loop. Do I value my soul? Do I value my soul? So you have to remember that it's really about identity. It's really about identity. So you're a timeless soul. Here's who you are, right? You're a timeless soul having human experiences, right? So everything comes and goes. Everything comes and goes. Money comes and goes. Jobs come and go. Relationships come and go. And even your body comes and goes. It's temporary. And what's the only thing that's always here is your soul. Your soul is always here. It doesn't come and go. Your soul is always here. And it was here even before your mother was born. Your soul was here before even your mother was born. This is your awareness. That's who you are. That's who you are. And it will be there even like after your future descendants are born. It's still there. That's your awareness. It doesn't come and go. That's who you are, right? So do you value your soul? Do you value your soul? Or do these people or choices, ask yourself, do these people in my life or choices I'm making help me grow and evolve as a soul? You come down here to evolve and grow as a soul, right? And if you value your soul, then go to this next question. Do these people in my life or choices help me grow and evolve as a soul? So when you know your soul and you honor it, just by these two things, who am I and do I value my soul? When you know your soul and honor it, your decisions become really easy, really easy. If it doesn't grow me or evolve me or feed my soul, I release it. And I can hear you now. What about money? Money, 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 money. That's fear, right? That's fear. That's not valuing your soul. That's not recognizing that you're a timeless soul having human experiences and things come and go to you. They always come and go to you. This is about trust and faith in your divinity. That's what's real. Hustling and hassling, right? And running and chasing is not real. It's not real. That's the ego that keeps you distracted and it keeps you in this karmic loop with the false fractal. And they're all saying the same thing. That's the advice they're giving you. Go chase, hustle and hassle. You don't know who you are. You're one of us. You're just this body with 5 senses and a mind. And you're just here to pay bills and have some fun while you're here, right? That's your false fractal. And maybe some of the things they think is really meaningful, what they're doing, right? But you bring it back to this. Are these people growing, helping me to grow and evolve as a soul? Are they? That's the tough truth. This is what it means to be a spiritual adult, right? Asking yourself the hard questions. So you want to choose your soul, right? So just repeat after me here. The universe loves when you use your voice to affirm the truth. I choose my soul over my old story. I release the karmic strings that no longer hold my evolution. I release the karmic strings that no longer hold my evolution. I value my soul above all else. That's the most valuable asset you have. Not the money in your bank, not your relationships, not the car you drive or the house you own or the material things that you have. It's your soul. That's the most valuable asset you have. And you have to know that, right? You have to know that. They don't teach you that on the planet. They teach you to value all these things that have no real value because they come and go. Your soul doesn't come and go. Okay? Okay. I think that's what I wanted to share there. And I think some more things will come to me. I want to do the readings, and I meant to mention this at the beginning, is also look at the twin, I do a fractal read for my fractal. And then I also do a twin flame. And I want you to watch the twin flame too, even if you don't relate to twin flames. To watch that, because it's really for the fractal too, because I use this new deck I got. It's the Cathar tarot deck. It's quite rare, but I thought it was really, really telling, the cards that came up. Okay. Okay, so this is for the full moon and the gate 13. And we'll look at this. So, okay. So here's the cards here. So we're going to focus here on the Eight of Swords. So this is the core. It's kind of the anchor card, actually, right? The Eight of Swords, and then the Death and the Devil card came after these. So this is the core state of the fractal right now, which is you, right? And this is what you're feeling in your false fractal right now. So what are the words with the Eight of Swords, right? Entrapment, mental loops, and learned helplessness. Oh, there's nothing I can do about it, right? I'm so little. I've got no power. It's everybody else's fault. This is the state you're in, and you're surrounded by people that are talking the same trash, right? The same victim story, right here, the Eight of Swords. So you feel stuck, but you're not truly trapped, right? The bondage is self-imposed through fear and identification with the false story, right? So this is a time that you have to feel everything, Divine Feminine. You have to feel everything that comes up, including this fear. You can't run away from this fear. It's coming up so that you can integrate it and feel it and be the alchemist and transmute it, right? So energetically, right here, is you're identified with this false story, right? And the false fractal is your mental prison. Your mental prison. Remember, you become the 5 people you hang out with the most, you become them. You're swimming in their environment, right? With this. So this is what this is saying. You're around a bunch of people in the Eight of Swords energy. And you could walk out. You could walk out, but doing so, right? It's like, who am I then? Right? Who am I? I'm the strong one in my fractal, my false fractal. I'm the one that's got it all together. I'm okay. They're not okay. They need me. They'll collapse without me. Right? And what does this do? Taking on this role of the fixer and the one that's got it all together? Well, You don't have to look at your stuff, do you? Because I've got, these people are more effed up than I am. I'm doing okay. See, look, right? So there's a payoff. There's always a payoff with the victim, with the victim consciousness. It's like, okay, just imagine, okay, I'm leaving this fractal, I'm leaving this community of people. What comes up? What am I afraid of? What's the payoff? Why am I with these people? What's the payoff for me? There's always a payoff for the victim consciousness. So you could walk away, but you're threatened because there's a payoff there, and you need to uncover what that is, right? And it could be hiding from your own wounding, right? So here, let's look at the story here. You've got the Four of Swords reversed here, and this is restlessness, right? And this is your relationship. These cards are all about your relationship to your false fractal. There's no peace here. There's no peace at all here. There's restlessness, and your false fractal doesn't give you rest or nourishment. They don't let you rest in peace. There's always a drama, right? They always need you for something. They always need you for something, right? They just won't let you be. They just won't let you be. So it keeps your nervous system on high alert with the Four of Swords reversed. So this is your nervous system is agitated. Because it's a trauma bond. It's trauma bonding, these false fractals. So you're trapped in survival mode, right? So there's a lot of stress that comes with this. And you may be addicted to stress, right? Maybe you're addicted to stress because it keeps you distracted. You don't have to go deeper into your wounding. You don't have to integrate. You don't have to, you get to hide from yourself in your fractal. There's a payoff right there. I get to hide from myself. I'm so distracted. I'm not alone with myself. Everybody needs something from me. They're grabbing something from me, right? There's a payoff. I'm really getting that word like strongly right now. There's a payoff, and this is what to look at. What's the payoff for me staying in this false fractal? What's the payoff? And be honest with yourself. Be the spiritual adult. Look at it. Look at your shadow. So even your comfort, even when you feel like, even what you look, this is how crazy this is. Even what you consider comfortable in your false fractal is discomfort. What you're saying, oh, this is so relaxing to hang out with these people. It's not. It's uncomfortable. This is the truth that you're avoiding, right? It's not comfortable. Your vehicle cannot relax in the false fractal. It's shut down because your body is like, no, these are not my people. I can't relax. Your body will show you the truth, not your mind and your guilt and your shame, right? And your fear of rejection. No, it'll be your body will let you know, right? Your body will let you know. Is it open? Is it receptive? Then yeah, they're on your fractal. Okay, and then you've got the Six of Swords. And the soul, your soul is already moving on. This is good, Six of Swords. Your soul's already moving towards transition. You're already in this energy that you're moving away. Maybe your body hasn't moved away yet. Your mind and ego haven't moved away yet, but your soul has. Right? Your soul knows. So this is a bridge card. So energetically, you want to leave the old shore, but it's still a little bit cautious, right? You're a little bit cautious and slow. So many of the fractal, they're in energetic migration, right? Even if they haven't checked out yet, right? Checked out of these relationships, cashed out, they're like moving on. The soul's moving on. Slowly though, slowly. Because you're still looking back, right? Here at the false fractal. And then Hermit reversed is deep aloneness. And this isn't solitude. This is aloneness. It's distorted because it's Hermit reversed. So this is it's inauthentic, right? And what you're doing is you're cut off from your authentic guidance. If it were Hermit upright, it would be like, yeah, right on. You're connecting with your inner guidance. No, you're not connecting to your inner guidance with Hermit reversed, right? Because you fear that true introspection, true solitude will expose the falseness of your current environment. You're scared to listen to your higher self. You know what your higher self's going to say. Get out of this. Leave now. Choose your soul in this lifetime. The soul's calling, but it's Hermit reversed. So you're avoiding solitude, keeping yourself busy, using this false fractal as an excuse to hide from your soul purpose. Right here, the Hermit reversed. So, so the false fractal isolates you from spirituality. You're hanging out with them and they're isolating you from your own spiritual guidance, your own spiritual path, right? Even if you're surrounded by people, you're isolated. That's the paradox. When your soul isn't being fed, right? You're surrounded by people and there you are, isolated from yourself and of course others. And then you've got the King of Pentacles here. So this is a hook in this position, like next to these cards. This is a big hook. This is the material or stability hook, the demiurge hook right there, the demiurge, which is the material world. So this is money, it's home, security, social status, family duty. So you stay because the 3D world looks stable. Well, it looks stable here. Well, what eyes are you looking out at? You're looking out at your ego's eyes, right? Your two eyes. You're not looking through your third eye. If you look through your third eye, you'd see what a trap this is, this King of Pentacles. You'd see that it was a prison. It's a nicely decorated prison, but it's still a prison. And your soul knows this, but you're refusing to look at the truth, right? You're looking at the surface of things. And if you're on my fractal, you're not a surface dweller. If you're on my fractal, you go deep. You go deep into things. You're like a dog in a bone for the truth. If you're truly on my fractal, and if you're playing this game of staying shallow, you know, you gotta check yourself. What am I doing? I need to like turn this hermit upright and get real and get aligned with what I'm doing. I'm throwing away the most valuable asset that I have on this planet, which is my soul. For what? Money, security, right? Material things, status. That's the demiurge got you, baby. Demiurge has got you, baby. Right? So it's like, don't fall for this. This is the trap that you already know as a Cathar. You know this. It's time to remember and stop playing like you don't know. Right? Stop distracting yourself. And it's a big hook. It's a hook and it's a karmic trap here. Right? So this is how the false fractal feeds you. Well, you're the strong one, right? You're the provider. You give so much to us. We would fall apart without you. This is the hook. This is the demiurge hook to bring you back into the material world. And then you forget why you're here, right? Oh, why did I end up here on planet Earth again? I forget, right? And you go into a coma, right? Go into a coma. So your fractal, right? You're seen as the responsible one, right? This could be your false fractal, your family, your friends, your community are all putting this on you. You're the responsible one. We would fall apart if it weren't for you, right? And what you're doing is you're holding up these lies. That's what you're doing. by buying into this projection, right? You're holding up the system of lies. You're holding up this whole house. As soon as you come into truth and you walk away, the cards fall, and then they have to come into truth. They have to align with truth, right? So you're upholding a lie, and that's going to do quite a number on your health, right? Your body has to pay the price for holding up a lie, especially not just for you, but for other people. You're holding up this lie, this fantasy. And then you've got the Four of Cups reversed here, and this is restlessness. Four of Cups upright is like apathy, like you're numb. There's nothing going on, right? Four of Cups reversed is you're coming back online. You're starting to feel things again. So this is dissatisfaction. It's restlessness. And you're tired of the spiritual boredom in your false fractal. You're tired of the shallowness of your false fractal, the lack of meaning in your false fractal, right? The lack of depth, like real spiritual depth. You're tired of the intellect and the cleverness, right? You're coming out of that now. I'm done with that, right? It's coming. This boredom, you're bored with these people. You feel emotionally stagnant with these people. So this is the soul is nudging you, and they're becoming undeniable, right? When you're with the false fractal, you can't stuff down these feelings anymore, right? So opportunities for true fractal connection are appearing. You know who your true fractal is. You know who they are, but you have to let go of this old story of this false fractal, right? The false fractal, like I said, is like karma and ego. That's what holds the false fractal together. And that's not real, right? It's not real. It's time to move out of this story. And then you got death, right? The death card here, which is a good card to have. This is transformation. And where it's positioned here, it's inevitable. So the false fractal is ending. The false fractal cycle is ending, whether you consciously choose it or life forces it. Life will force it. So this is a Cathar echo, this death card here. And this is the old identity must die so that the soul can be reborn into true service, right? So this old identity that's been holding back your authenticity has to die, right? Has to die. And this is good. This is a good card to have. And then you've got the devil card here. So this is the karmic bind with this false fractal. An emotional addiction to the false fractal, like I talked about. Stress, like the addiction to stress, the addiction to the hits, the dopamine hits. That's the stress hits. It's just stress, adrenals, glands, right? That kind of chemistry, right? You're addicted to that. This is the devil card because it's familiar, right? Your family of origin, it started there, right? Whatever the feelings came up in your family of origin, you're going to repeat them with your friends and community. It's all the same. It's all the false fractal. So this is trauma bonded family loyalty, trauma bond, right, to your family loyalty, addiction to your roles. I'm the rescuer, I'm the martyr, I'm the strong one. Fear of rejection, right, or loss of security. I'm putting air quotes, security is not real. Yet awareness of the chain, this chain, because you're chained to these people, is the first step to your liberation, right? So the relationship to your false fractal is you're entrapped by a role, 8 of Swords, and the devil, and you're restless and dissatisfied. This is the 4 of Swords reversed and the 4 of Cups reversed, and you're moving towards inevitable transition. That's the 6 of Swords and the Death card. and you're spiritually isolated, but not fully trusting the inner call. You're isolated, but you're not fully trusting yet the inner call, your soul's calling to your soul purpose. And there could be family, material obligations, or hooks, right, that keep you tethered to this devil. And that's the King of Pentacles, right? So the energetic theme overall here is this is screaming that you're spiritually suffocating in this false fractal. You're spiritually suffocating, right? And your soul won't have much more to do with it, right? So you're aware of the cage and you're craving transition, but you're clinging to safety and role identity. So what you're doing, your soul is demanding a death and rebirth cycle. So this fits perfectly with the full moon, right? The 13 and the 7 and the 31. So the gate 13 is the old story bonds that you're letting go. Gate 7 is the choice of your true direction. And this is the 8 of Swords and the Devil, the karmic gravity, a false fractal, and then death is the soul's inevitable liberation. Okay. So repeat after me. I release the story that keeps me trapped. I choose my soul's liberation over my ego's comfort. All right. And just saying that out loud will start to activate your field. Okay. So that's the fractal read. And then we'll zip down to the twin flame here. Where's the twin flame? So these are the Cathar tarot deck that I used. I want to just get it a little bit closer so that you can see the cards here. It's an interesting deck. So it uses the teachings of the Cathars here. And okay. So we're going right to the original rift. When did this true fractal, your true fractal, when did the rift take place? And we're going way, way back into the 1300s. So the original rift, this is the Lucifer card there, you can see. So this Lucifer is the light bearer, the fallen angel, and the original moment of separation. So this is the twin flame, right? The twin flame true fractal story. So this is when your soul first chose the experience of separation from divine source and tribe. So this is when the soul experienced separation, and it's the moment of exile. This is the moment of exile, it says, right? And this is when fear entered, and innocence is tested with this card here, and your innocence is tested. So in terms of the Cathars, the separation happened during persecution, right? Remember, if you're watch my High Priestess in Hiding video, if you're new to this, and I also have a link to the documentary on the Cathars, and that's on my website. So a lot of women on my fractal are past lives as Cathars, right? So this is when the separation happened, was persecution, betrayal. Remember, the Cathars were burned alive in fire. They were persecuted. And the choice here was to hide the soul's light for survival. Okay, so this is when the rift happened. And then the choice was made. I'm going to hide my soul's light for survival. So there was a time when you walked fully in your light, right? But fear, betrayal, and persecution scattered the fractal. And this was the birth of the separation wound, And but the first Lucifer moment in the soul line was during the persecution, right in the 1300s there. And then the descent into the false fractal. When did that happen? 2 wisdom, and then the 7 of swords. So this is choice, right? It's about choice. It's indecision. It's split loyalty. 7 of swords. It's the dishonesty card. It's survival strategy. It's hiding truth, and it's karmic compromise. So together, this is the false fractal path. So the soul sees the danger, right? Sees the danger and chooses safety over soul alignment, chooses safety, chooses the material world, basically. And then splits into roles and masks and hides in karmic relationships. The soul started to hide in karmic relationships, in family or society, or even their persecutors that I talked about too, but hiding. And this begins the loop of spiritual exhaustion and self-betrayal, self-abandonment that started this. So after the rift with Lucifer, the soul tried to survive, and the soul chose jobs, roles, and alliances that kept them safe from being hunted down and persecuted in their next lifetime. But it kept them small. It came with a cost, right? Kept the body alive, but made them small spiritually, and hid in the false fractal, loyal to comfort and fear, all the while the soul's whispering, this is not who you truly are. This is not who you truly are. And the present choice point now, and this time, is the wheel of life. The wheel of life. And so this is karma and cycles and a turning point, So this lifetime is the destined moment to break the cycle, right? So this lifetime for you is the destined moment to break this cycle of hiding, right? And that's, if you repeat the old pattern, that's the old pattern of karmic loops, right? Are you going to do that, or are you going to step off the wheel? This wheel keeps turning and turning. Are you going to stay in this wheel, right? Or are you going to step off the wheel into spiritual adulthood, and that this is liberating your soul's liberation? Or are you going to continue this cycle that you've been doing lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, choosing comfort over your soul, choosing fear, choosing your false fractal, right? So this is like, here you are again in this lifetime. You're once again at the wheel. So this same loop that began lifetimes ago repeats until you make a different choice. So the soul says, I'm ready to step off the wheel and into my true life. That's when you want to make the decision. I want to come into my true life. I don't want to hide anymore, right? I want to come into my power in this lifetime. And remember the Cathar prophecy. In 700 years, you'll be back. Well, you're back, and here's the wheel. What choice are you going to make in this lifetime? And then the gift of reunion. So this is reunion with your twin flame, reunion with your fractal, your soul tribe. This is the 4 of shields, and then the 4 of wisdom, 2 4s. So this is true foundation, the 4 of shields. It's safety rooted in soul. Your safety is rooted in your soul, right? Rather than fear. And then the 4 of wisdom is spiritual maturity. This is spiritual adulthood. It's inner stability, and it's soul-aligned community. Soul-aligned community here. So this is twin flame, 4-4, right? This is 4 plus 4 equals 8, right? Equals 8, and that's infinity. And this is twin flame union. right here. And this is the gift of reunion. So a true abundance flows once the soul no longer compromises itself, right? And this time that we're in, it's all about authenticity, right? Nothing will flow for you in terms of your prosperity unless you're aligned with your soul, right? So this is saying 4 + 4 = 8. When you're aligned, then prosperity and abundance will flow again once more for you, as long as you don't compromise yourself. So when you step into soul alignment, a true foundation appears. Real safety is born, not from clinging to karmic roles, but from standing in the infinite field of your soul tribe. This is the reunion your hearts have already know. You already know. You've always known this. You've always known this. So twin flame, and then your fractal, And then the anchor here is the Ace of Swords, and then the Endura. The Ace of Swords and the Endura. And this is the heart of the spread. So clarity, Ace of Swords is clarity, truth. It's a sword that cuts the karmic ties. And then the Endura is a Cathar vow. It's a Cathar vow of spiritual endurance, death of the ego, right? The Cathar vow to let the ego die, and liberation of the soul. So this says, these two cards together say the key to breaking the loop is absolute clarity. And like I said, you need to know who you are, and you need to know what you value. If you know without a doubt that you're a timeless soul, here to grow and evolve. And then number 2, you value your soul above all else. All the decisions are made for you already, just with those 2 proclamations, right? This is the Endura. But you have to be clear, absolutely clear. No wishy-washy, no going back and forth. Ace of Swords is like, no, I know this is the truth, the sword of truth. So the Endura is, I will not betray, right? I will not betray my soul or my love again, true love, unconditional love again. I won't betray my soul or my love again, even if the world rejects me, even if the world rejects me. So this is the twin flame vow through lifetimes, right? The twin flames have made vows way back. The twin flames are ancient. If you're in a twin flame connection, it's an ancient vow that you made long time ago. And it's followed you lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. It's timeless. So this is the twin flame vow. And the Endura is truth over fear, that you choose truth over fear. You choose soul over ego, right? And this is the vow that you've made as twin flames. And that's the anchor. That's the anchor of the reading. So the sword of truth will end the cycle, that you've been in lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, which is choosing comfort, and keeping yourself small, right? In hiding and staying in hiding. Well, the cycle ends, right, with the sword of truth. So this is the Endura, the vow to honor the soul no matter what the world says. No matter what the world says, you honor the soul. And the world doesn't honor the soul. Look around. With the soul, even virtues, right? If you think of virtues like honesty and self-respect, nobility, integrity, things like that, where does that come from? Where do those virtues come from? They don't come from the ego. They come from your soul. You don't have to think about them. You're automatically aligned with those virtues when you're aligned with your soul, right? And we don't see those virtues out in the world because this world is not soul-led. We value things that have no value, right? Everything's inverted. It's upside down, right? But what's most valuable is your soul, is your soul. So you want to honor your soul above all else. And then it's really easy to make your decisions, who to be around, who not to be around. So when you make this vow that you honor your soul, no matter what the world says, your false fractal will just fall away, will fall away. They'll just disappear because you're aligned with truth, and your false fractal is not aligned with truth. They're aligned with lies and the ego and fear, right? But you align with truth, they'll disappear. And then you draw, just through your frequency of truth, then you draw in your true soul tribe. You draw in abundance, right? Draw in abundance. So, when you make this vow, the false fractal falls away, and your twin flame and your true fractal can finally recognize your light, because you've come out of hiding. Right now, you're hiding lifetimes and lifetimes of hiding your light, and now you make this vow, and then they can recognize you. They can see you. Soul tribe can see you. Okay. Anyway, I'm grooving on these cards. They're deep, deep cards. And I think they're perfect for my fractal. Okay. The next announcement I want to make before we say goodbye. The next retreat is September 12th to the 14th. September 12th to the 14th. So it's like 5.5 weeks away. I wanted to give people lots of time. So the theme is awakening the divine feminine. And the theme here is sex and sexuality. So as we move into spiritual adulthood and choose our soul, our sexual energy starts to awaken in a completely new way. So this isn't the old karmic loop of sex as an obligation, that's tribal consciousness, or a way to escape. This is sex as soul expression. So this is the Kundalini energy, right? The current that carries our creativity, right? So it's about your creativity too, which also is about your prosperity and your abundance. So Ra, the founder of human design, right? He says that sexuality is mutating. We're not going to recognize that it's mutating after 2027. So we're moving away from the tribal contracts and emotional drama, and we're becoming individual, creative, and consciousness expanding beings, right? So the sexual energy is actually a mutation field. It's a mutation field. And this is the 59 and the 55, right? They're going through huge mutation, the 55 and the 59. So this is Kundalini that's amplified by your voice, your creative voice, your music, your creative environments, right? So as we enter the new global cycle and the cross of the sleeping phoenix, sexuality will no longer be about survival, right? It's not going to be about the tribal contracts anymore, right? It's not about propagating the species. It's about awakening your body as a creative temple of your soul, right? So it'll be a really interesting retreat, what comes up with it, and what we'll look at, because we want to look at your human design chart, your natal chart, and this will identify your dominant sexual stream, so tribal, emotional, or individual, or Kundalini. And then there'll be embodied practices like Kundalini yoga, meditation, and Kriyas to awaken and feel the stream within your body. And this is about you reclaiming, right? Your sexuality, you reclaiming your creativity, because we need creativity, right? And we've got to create this whole new earth, right? So we need everybody online with their creative contribution that they're here to make. And this has been suppressed, right? Through your sexuality has been repressed, divine feminine. Your creativity has been repressed, right? Through lifetimes and lifetimes. So it's about unleashing that. And then for you to be channeling sexual energy into creativity and spiritual embodiment. And that also is healing energy too, right? So it's like this energy force that you want to tap into that's been distorted and suppressed. So I should have open for registration by Friday, and then I'll have more information too on my website. But I wanted to announce it so people can put it in their iCal. So September 12th to the 14th. Okay. So that's what I have for this full moon. And please follow me on Instagram, Telegram, and then YouTube community page too. I post daily, and I'm going to put more posts on about the actual transits that day so that you can have some direction and some action items that you can do for that day to unlock the energy. Okay, so and also I have a free newsletter too if you're not on my newsletter list as well. Okay, so have a wonderful full moon, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, Sat Nam Aloha, everybody.